Hey, welcome to the Main Street Sports Extra. Today we have Coach Phil Tessereau from the Crystal City Hornets boys basketball team. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well, Ray. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much. Hey, taking a little glance at last season, 13-13 overall. You were 2-3 in the JCAA Small Schools Conference. You fell to Brentwood in the Class 2 District 4 championship game. You've also lost four seniors to graduation this year for this season. First game of the season for the Hornets is scheduled actually for today against Bayless. So congratulations on getting back uh, in the saddle, I guess, so to speak, to be able to get your season started. And big names like Richardson leading the teams with points and rebounds, and they both have graduated. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Folks, a little background on yourself. We know that you're a Crystal City alum, basketball places, but what's brought you back to coaching high school this year?
A long time last year, I was not actively involved in coaching anywhere. Through the years, I've coached at the high school level. I've had some AAU teams. I worked at St. Louis Basketball Academy as a coach and a trainer. I had a son in high school who was playing and was just always around the game. And for the first time last year in a long time, I was not actively involved, and I just realized that involvement. So that's what brought me back to the game. Coach Jones and I were having some conversations about a junior high position, maybe being involved at some other level. And of course, we had no idea that Coach Richardson was not going to be returning. When that opened up, here I am.
There you go. Hey, and we're glad to have you back. Could you tell us maybe one of the most rewarding aspects of coaching and teaching the game that you have?
Well, I just know that I got so much from the game. Uh, Coach Larry Holly, who was my freshman coach at Central Methodist College, who had a long career at William Jules in the top 10 of all time winning coaches. In 1 year, he had an impact on me of how to treat people, how kids can benefit from um, positive leadership in the right direction. And I've never forgotten that. And it's just something I find extremely rewarding. And to be honest with you, I find myself bored if I'm not doing something like that. I love the game. Last year during my off year, we were finding ways to go see games. I saw Crystal City games just as a fan, and missed being involved, coaching, working with kids.
It's good. It's good. Um, we know that you were a assistant coach for Coach Sean Breeze over at Jefferson R7, but you were an assistant coach over at Crystal City. Tell me what years that was, and do you have any good Sean Breeze stories you can share with us?
I do, but for everyone I share on him, he'll have one on me. So but we have a mutual agreement. No, that situation was kind of similar. Also, that I got in touch with. I guess it was Jeff Kloss was the AD over there at the time, and just kind of expressed that I was interested in coaching. And he said they had an assistant coaching job, and I'd never been an assistant before. So I talked to Sean, and I had known Sean through the years, but it was really a great experience. I think he benefited from me being his assistant. I know I benefited from working under him. So we had a lot of really good experiences. Those were some really good years for Crystal City basketball. That was the Stacy Thornton, Eli Sample era. That it was a fun group of kids to work with.
And what years was that again?
Well, the last year would have been 2012,
Okay.
so 2008 through 2012. Yeah, yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Crystal City obviously had to cancel the Raleigh Herbert tournament this season. That was kind of unfortunate because of COVID. Some COVID concerns, and you guys have finally gotten yourselves out of quarantine, and you're getting ready to start your first game tonight. Um, what is your philosophy about how you approach the early season games here in tournaments?
Well, this year's been a year like no other, of course. I guess my approach is one to try to get the kids physically ready to play. We had 2 weeks of camp during the summer that we got in, and then after that, uh, I had no gym time with the kids at all. Um, Practiced one day, November 2nd. The school shut down for 2 weeks, so we were quarantined at that point. And so physically getting the kids to where they're in shape to go up and down the floor was my biggest concern. I have kept things very simple. We're going to be pretty basic. Have just not, and having a new coach come in is always difficult, even in a normal year. So I guess I would say simplicity, focusing on a few basic things has probably been my focus as we get ready to play tonight.
Great, that's good. We wanted to ask you a little bit about your assistant coach. Do you have a new assistant coach, and what role is he playing this year with your staff in terms of duties and responsibilities?
Well, he's very valuable. It's Steve Eisenbeis, who had been there under Coach Richardson. And so I'm a teacher at the school, and so I'm not there at school with the kids every day. And so I think Steve's presence is very valuable in that respect. Um, Knowing the kids, knowing the families, helping to communicate to them our expectations of um, being good students and good citizens in school. Steve's probably able to do that on a daily basis at school more so than I am. Uh, Basketball wise, again, he had many of these kids last year. We're kind of short on numbers, so we've practiced together the entire year. So I'm using his kids kind of as our practice team, and his ability to be there, get them ready, make sure they're challenging my varsity guys as much as they can. He's a big asset. Yes,
Yeah, good to have him back, and I'm sure he'll be a huge help for you there. Talk a little bit
for
about
sure,
last
for
season,
sure.
just a little bit. We're going to talk about Donovan Tullock, who's still with the team here. He was only available for part of the season. Um, what were some, but he did have some flashes that were a very, very good play for him. Who are some of your players who may be poised to have a breakout season this season?
Well, I think this is a really strong senior group. Donovan's name probably stands out along with Carson Short. Um, those guys, they shoot the three very well. They run the floor very well. Hunter Basson fits into that group. In fact, those three players' games are very similar in a lot of respect. We've got some size with Logan Anderson. Two juniors are going to see a lot of playing time. That's Nate Pruno, Callaway Dashner. Chase Coleman is a senior that brings us aggressive toughness to where if we need somebody to go in, give us some really tough defensive minutes for a while, that he can do that. So the challenge is with a lot of talented offensive players is how do you involve everybody?
Right.
Because I think with Donovan and Carson in particular have the ability to throw up some big games, and when that happens, you call attention to yourself, and teams start doing things to uh, focus on you, and that's where everybody else comes in. So we have tried to uh, prepare for we need to involve everybody in our offensive scheme. And, I don't mind telling you that we're going to play very fast, uh, but that can't just be offensively. We have to keep the tempo up, and that has to be with our defense
Yeah,
as
and that
well.
I think that's we've seen a few games already this season. Definitely Fast and Furious is the name of the game, but controlled Fast and Fury is even better. So
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
conditioning, conditioning becomes a situation, with fragmented games or practices and things like that. With COVID, a situation like you. What do you guys feel like right now? I know, with having some fragmented practices and whatnot, but what do you think your strengths are this year besides speed?
Well, I think a strength is that we don't have to rely on one person for scoring. Although, I think Donovan's going to have some big games this year. I think Carson's going to have some big games this year. Logan Anderson has the ability to light it up. Hunter Basson as well. But I think we really have to focus on being able to adapt to changes when things aren't going well. Um, and that's something that we've not been able to see in practice. What happens when things don't go well? What happens when your shots aren't falling? So uh, we're going to find out when we play Bayless, when we play Union, when we go to the Christmas tournament. All those kinds of things will either reveal that yes, we're ready, or maybe we're not. We got a lot of work to do.
Gotcha, gotcha. Um, you know, um, Talk about maybe some team goals. I know it's early, and I know that this being your first season back at Crystal City, do you make team goals at this point to measure your team's success for the season?
I really have not made any specific or high level goals. They've been targeted towards uh, us getting better as a team. We have talked about, and I think this team knows that we have the ability to um, win some games this year, compete for a conference title, which I think should always be a goal. Have a chance to win a district tournament, which I think should always be a goal. Um, but as far as putting numbers on things, I've just not done that. I just think there's too many. Well, first of all, I have to say some of it is that I haven't seen Grandview in a couple of years. I do know what Coach Breeze has out at Jefferson. I haven't seen Pius in a couple of years. Um, so until I have a chance to see those guys, scout those teams, um, it's hard to say where we're going to shake out. And conference play uh, is always tough. It just seems like no matter who you think is an opponent that we should be able to handle them. Uh, um, Herky jumps up and bites you. Pius does. Grandview. So we're just really going to try to take one game at a time. Because I will say the way we're going to play, I've told the kids we can have really good results. And if we get away from what we're doing, we can have really bad results.
Yeah,
And that's our challenge.
that's good. Good words of wisdom there. Well, Coach, appreciate you being with us. And I got a final question
Sure.
for you here, real quick, kind of on the personal side here. I know, you know,
Yes, sir.
and it's something that a lot of folks might not know because you're new coach over here at Crystal City. Is there anything hobby wise, or maybe something unusual we might want to know about Coach Tessereau, or if maybe something you've picked up during the break here with COVID, where you've had a lot of time on your hands to try out something new, maybe a hobby wise, or just an interest. What's going on in Coach Tessereau's life right now?
Well, at my age, there's not a lot of new things that I need to be trying. Uh, I will say that basketball, getting ready for the season, has taken up a lot of time. Um, and we do, and this is really going to be controversial, get together with friends and play cards and dominoes on
Hey,
Friday or Saturday night.
there you go. I like that. I really do. Hey, I used to play dominoes all the time when I was younger, so I get that. I love that. Love that. So we
It can be an
appreciate
old
you being
guy's
on.
game too.
Yeah. Yeah, we appreciate you being on, and
Great, great,
good luck to you, and hopefully we'll see you sooner down the road here. I know we'll have a handful of games that we're covering with live stream STL for you guys, and appreciate you being on today.
great, great. Appreciate everything you guys do. Thanks, Ray.